So let me start here. The first place I went is the idea. It's a simple question, right? How do I get my subscribers to spread the word and bring in more subscribers and turn one subscriber into two? If every subscriber you got led to two subscribers, that's a huge impact. And the first thing I thought about is there's actually 5 different phases of subscription. So what I mean by that is the first phase is a person who is not subscribed to your newsletter, but they're considering it. The second phase is the moment they subscribe, or more accurately, the moment right after they subscribe. The third phase is during their subscription, which is where most of your people are, right? They've subscribed, they've been reading it for 3 months, 6 months, 8 months, 2 years, whatever. The fourth phase is the first time they pay you money for something. They do a paid subscription, they buy a product, they do whatever. And then the fifth one is the moment we were just talking about, when they renew. So the decision to go, okay, I've been subscribed to this for a year, I'm going to renew, which is different than the first subscription, different than when they're in the middle. So I was thinking about those 5 different moments or phases. You actually want to consider a strategy, 5 different strategies, a strategy for each of those moments about how you're going to turn that subscriber in that phase, how you're going to get them to drive word of mouth and attract more people, because those phases are very different. And so I'm going to give you a few specific ideas of examples of things you could do. So for example, when someone is in the phase, let's say, where they're considering a paid subscription, you could offer them an incentive if they refer a friend. So maybe it's a discount, maybe it's access to something special, maybe it's an affiliate fee, maybe it's a whatever. So when that person is in that moment and they're like, I'm going to upgrade to his paid subscription, you could have something that said, hey, and you can figure out the logistics of how to do it, even if it's as simple as them emailing you and you give them a discount code or whatever, right? But you say, hey, if you know someone else, how much is an annual subscription for you?
So it's now $140 a year.
Okay. So let's say it's 140 and you go, hey, if you find someone else that wants to subscribe with you at the same time, I'll give it to both of you for $100, making that up. Or if you get someone who subscribes with you, I'll give the two of you a private call to whatever, right? You can come up with whatever incentive you want. But in that moment, to nudge them to both close the deal and subscribe, but also nudge them to turn them from a buyer to a promoter. Give them a reason to bring someone in. Most of those people probably know at least one person who would also be interested in what you're doing, because they live in that world. So that's an example of what you could do with someone who's considering a paid subscription. The other thing is, right after someone subscribes, you can incentivize them to tell others what they've done with a similar tactic. So remove the friction, make it as easy as possible for them to promote you, right? So the difference there is just you're using it up front or you're using it on the back end. Hey, I so appreciate that you subscribed. I'd be happy to give you $25 back if you tell someone else to sign up using this code or whatever. So again, same kind of tactic, just placed differently. So here's another one. So the mass of your audience who's in that sort of middle phase, they're subscribed to your free thing or your paid thing, but basically, they're a subscriber. They're just sort of in the middle of all of it. You could create some sort of group growth challenge, for lack of a better term. And the idea here is that if collectively your audience helps get X number of new people to subscribe, it unlocks a benefit for all of them. So you could say, hey, and again, you could do it on the paid side or the free side. So you could say, I have 5,000 subscribers. Collectively, we get another 500 subscribers in the next month. And also, I think for people, I think a lot of people with referral programs are like, I'm never going to get 10 people to sign up for this thing. But everyone helps. And you're also creating a narrative arc. So you can, in each issue, be talking about, hey guys, we get 100 new subscribers, like we're getting closer. I did X, Y, and Z. And because again, it's collectively as a group. So you're creating a narrative story that's rewarding the group for helping you grow. And it also helps them feel some sense of ownership in the thing. So that's an example of what you could do for people at that phase. Here's another one that would be interesting for paid subscriptions. So right after someone buys a paid subscription or when they renew, you could message them and you could say, hey, I really appreciate it. And I want to give you the opportunity to gift someone you know a free year subscription.
Okay.
So yes, you're paying for this thing, but you probably know someone who would value this. I'm going to give you, you can email them and say, hey, I do this thing. I really appreciate everything you do for me. I wanted to gift you a free year subscription. For you, you don't make any money on that on year one, but it's the ultimate lead generation because assuming it's good, and again, it's more of a longer term play. But that literally turns one subscriber into two. And a certain percentage of those free subscribers, if they like it, will pay to renew the following year. And your new subscribers feel like it's basically a 2-for-1, right? Your new subscribers feel like, oh my God, I had no idea. And I just bought this guy's thing. And now he's giving me this like thing that I can gift to somebody else and feel, do something generous and whatever. This is a little inspired by, and I cannot remember where I heard it. I think it might be, there's a book by Jonah Berger called Contagious that's really good. It's all about how to drive word of mouth. It might be in that book, but there was there was an author, and I don't remember what the book was about, but it was like a relatively like niche book. Let's say it was about some scientific thing, some niche science thing. So he sent 2 copies of the book for free to all these professors in that area, unprovoked. He got a list of professors in that field. He sent them all 2 copies of the book. He said, one's for you because I thought you were interested. The second is for you to give to somebody that you think will be interested in it. It was such hyper-targeted, effective marketing because he realized what was going to happen was those professors could find his audience better than he could. And so I'm borrowing a bit of that tactic for you here, where it's like the people that pay for your thing can probably find other people who will value your thing better than you can.
Yeah.
And it doesn't cost you anything or any additional work because, yeah, you're giving it to them free for a year, but what difference does it make? You wouldn't have found them anyway. It's not like you're producing the same amount of newsletters or whatever. And some of them down the road will become paid. So that I think is something that's worth thinking about. Yeah. And I think that's one, that if you were going to do one of these things, I would experiment probably with that one because it's very easy to do. It's rewarding people that have already paid you. And I think starts the relationship on a like, oh, that's pretty cool.